So hello, my name's Trevor, and I'd just like to tell you a little bit about how we got started with Children Changing Nations. I attended a kids leaders conference run by Bethel Church in Reading, and one of the ladies on the conference was a lady called Laura Griffiths, and just in one of the sessions she almost made a chance comment and said that she'd been in London, and while she was in London, kids up there. So we looked into the idea of taking children to Westminster Abbey to pray for the nation. Well, the long and short of it is that we did take a party of children to Westminster Abbey, and we had an amazing time. So when we got to Westminster Abbey, we had great privileged access and great favour, and we were taken to the Edward the Confessor Chapel, which is behind the main screen, behind the altar. The children sat down to start with in lines, but I really felt God say, get the children standing in a circle. And as soon as we did that, just had an amazing sense of God's presence and His Holy Spirit with us. And then the children made declarations and prayers over our nation. What an amazing feeling that was, to be stood in probably one of the iconic chapels in the UK, the Royal Abbey, and to be able to declare things over our nation. It was an amazing start to Children Changing Nations. So subsequent to this, I met Laura Griffiths again sometime after we'd been to the Abbey, and she revealed something that she hadn't said before. And that was, as a tourist, as she was walking past the outside of the Edward the Confessor chapel, she peered in between the bars. And at that moment, she heard God speak to her specifically and say, bring the children here. Well, that blew me away, to think that we stood in that very same spot declaring over our nation. And then meeting with the other team members that we have now in Children Changing Nations, who have this great heart to see children released to pray over our nation. We've seen some fantastic things happening. But for me, it's just to see God moving these children and to experience His Holy Spirit in some of the locations we've been. And it's just great taking children to significant locations in London. We've not only been to Westminster Abbey, but we've been into the Houses of Parliament, where we've been able to pray for a Christian MP. We've been at the top of St Paul's Cathedral, praying for the City of London, and many other significant locations. But in all these places, been so aware of God and His presence with us. And we've been blown away by the stories of children who've experienced Him.